Hey y'all, I hope you've been well and staying cool this summer. I am back with another create and chat video. I've been really into the lino cut recently and I made a buttload of these cheap newsprint editions. They are on my big cartel shop if you want to check them out. Also, stay tuned for some hot and sexy paint palette peeling footage. Say that 3 times fast. Anyway, if you happen to watch my last video, this is pretty much the same format. Visually, we have the art process time-lapse stuff, and over top I'm going to talk about contemporary artists that have piqued my fancy. So let's get started. The first artist I want to talk about is sculptor Amelia Lockwood. She was born in 1990 in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and now lives and works in Los Angeles. She primarily works with ceramics, referencing sites of collective change such as celestial, geological, psychic, and architectural themes. She uses gestural language to create art that reflects our energetic surroundings. And even in her most symmetrical pieces, there is still a margin of differentiation between the two sides, yet there's still this sense of balance. Her work is elevated by the medium she uses and those textures that she achieves through sculpting. Artillery Mag describes her work as raw, altar-like, and talismanic ceramics, which I think sums it up quite well. Also, I'm just a sucker for anything earth-toned, and she definitely checks that box for me. Also, this video titled Amelia Lockwood at Very Small Fires LA made me kind of emotional, like I shed a single tear. Her work is displayed very beautifully. Check it out, I'll put it in the description if you want to watch it. Shifting gears to another 3D artist, I recently discovered Florencia Escudero's sculptures. She was born in 1987 in Singapore and lives and works in Brooklyn, New York. She's truly a mixed media artist. If you go through her website and read the descriptions of each piece, you'll notice the slightly differing concoctions of materials she uses. Her piece Echo, made in 2022, comprises of digitally printed satin and spandex, hand-sewn over upholstery foam, resin cast with watches, chains, glitter, steel rod. The spread is crazy, y'all. There's a textile element to her art that I really enjoy. It brings a softness to her work that we don't often see or envision in historically embraced sculptures. I grew up seeing a lot of marble or ceramic sculptures, not as many sewn, printed, or cast things combined with household items, creating something almost completely unique, giving it that assemblage-like quality. Through this multimedia conglomerate that is her work, she expresses feminist theory, cyberculture, and embraces many different art forms like digital collage, hand sewing, and silk screening to combine both handmade and machine-made art. Her website states, "When making these pieces, I'm thinking about the history of feminist art that looks at the objectification of women's bodies. I want to flip the expectation and look at how objects become human." Whoa. Escudero recently had her work in an exhibition called Fidgetalia. The Kristen Lorello website comments on it. The artist is known for her mind-spinning, visually provocative, soft sculptures that teeter on the animate. She combines research of feminist theory and digital culture with innovative approaches to drawing, printing, and casting. Taking inspiration from economies surrounding women's bodies, such as fashion and fetish objects, Escudero heightens the interplay between the digital and the physical in her new works. Hence the title of the exhibition, Fidgetalia, the portamento of the artist's creation that combines the marketing term phygital with talia to conjure the notion of a blurred experience between the digital, physical, and body. Real-life TikTok and Instagram personalities, such as the viral NPC character Pinky Doll, now mimic the look, cadence, and stuttering glitches of an AI robot in real time. This warped distinction between the real and artificial finds a place in Escudero's sculptural visions. Her multi-part installation, Daphne, interprets the mythological story of Daphne's escape from Apollo as 2 legs, spliced together, cut into chunks of flower-speckled musculature, and coated with a transparent sheen. In a freestanding, oversized vase, samples of makeup foundation digitally printed onto satin are patches of sand that lead to a lonesome cluster of green palm trees. Skin begs for moisture like parched plants in the desert. Beautifully put, I must say. Moving on to a digital artist, Brenda Kumar is a Malaysian illustrator living and freelancing in London. She has a very clean digital illustration style that I admire for its maximalism. She uses geometry, symmetry, clean shapes and lines, and has a semblance of Italian chic representation of modern and traditional society. She's heavily influenced by her upbringing in Malaysia and uses lots of patterns and colors in her work because of that. Her colors stay very bright and sort of pale to keep this lightweight look to her art. And as someone who is always drawn to maximalist work, I love her work for its colors, shapes, and repeating patterns that create this sense of balance in her work. She's not limited by her style either. She has a large body of work comprising of personal art and commissions. I found her through the Nicer Tuesdays panel, which I would highly recommend checking out. I will link it in the description. She goes more in depth about how she plans pieces depending on where the art will end up, and talks about the relationship between the elements in her art and her own specific inspirations and source material. Looking at what she researches for briefs and how she takes notes and sketches is just so interesting. She uses Adobe Illustrator, so it's nice to have a more visual description of her process in that software as well. She argues that the technical side is just as important as the creative side, implying that her art form involves a lot of math since it is so symmetrical and balanced. Her website is worth a look if you want to check it out at brindakumar.com. It will also be in the description. The next artist I want to talk about is Brianna Rose Brooks. I love her website and the diverse array of work that she showcases there. Her colors are vibrant and her style is consistent across different mediums. She excels with airbrushing and drawing tools, creating art that is both smooth and bold. She does a great job of illustrating the fun shapes and textures of just being human and alive, as well as the specifics of her culture and surroundings. She also plays with transparency and layering in her more abstract, non-objective pieces. I've talked about this before, but I think it's really amazing how we can take hold of our own digital footprint and create our own websites outside of social media platforms to put our work on the internet. Who knows if that'll even matter in a few years, not to be pessimistic, but in the meantime, it's so cool that we can design a section of the internet that is our own and have more freedom in terms of graphic design and function. Brianna Rose Brooks does a great job of showing the beautiful simplicity of website design and how much it can elevate the online display of your art. Speaking of, I did make my own portfolio site recently, which you can view at karinasingh.cargo.site. I'm hoping to have my own functional corner of the internet outside of Instagram and YouTube as well, so I hope you guys check it out. It is still in the works, but I hope you enjoy regardless. The next artist I want to share with you guys is Erica Samogi, who is an artist whose colors I absolutely adore. Her art has this illustrative smoothness and kind of psychedelic vibrancy that pair together quite nicely. I love her more monochrome and more non-objective pieces, but as y'all know, I'm biased towards that stuff. She messes with layering and different mediums as well, and uses digital mediums to create these beautiful, balanced, and symmetrical pieces. She also manages to harness watercolor extremely well and make these photorealistic paintings, which I will never understand how people are able to do that. Must be nice though. Must be nice. And now comes your reward for almost making it to the end of this video. I've had this palette for maybe 5 years now, and there are many layers of acrylic paint that have accumulated. And on this day, I peeled it. What follows is the footage. Enjoy. Oh my god. My palette breaking. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it was everything you had hoped and dreamed for. It was a slow burn, for sure. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this video format. Do you like? Let me know, please. I can always use some feedback. Please be nice, though. I am a fragile human being. And again, thank you for your patronage. It really means a lot. Stay tuned for the next video whenever that happens, and I will see you hopefully soon. Bye bye!